Hi there, and welcome to the Anita Chat podcast. I'm your host, Anita Rombo, and this is the podcast for growth-oriented women to have authentic, real talk. Nothing is off the table here, but as an intuitive self-relationship coach, you'll find the content gravitates towards mindset, intentional action, spirituality, and all things wellness. So if you're ready to learn, laugh, show up, and glow up to be the best version of yourself, grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and we've got lots to chat about. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of I Need to Chat. Today, I want to chat about something that we are all afraid of and that all of us have experienced at some time or another. Curious? It's failure. As a society, we dread failing at anything. The power of failure makes us perfectionists. The fear of failure keeps us stuck. We are afraid of failing ourselves and, worse yet, failing in the eyes of others. Our need for approval and belonging is so pervasive it keeps us from taking chances and living our life. What comes to your mind when you think of failure? I picture a test with a big F written in red and tons of things circled and X'd on the page. It certainly doesn't conjure up a pleasant image for me, and I'm sure it probably doesn't for you either. But is failure really a thing? Here's my take on it. The only time you fail is when you stop showing up to do the thing. You can have setbacks, but you learn from them. You can make choices that you regret, but you can make better choices next time. You can be off on your timelines, but you can adjust your timelines. They're usually arbitrary to begin with. But so long as you are in the game trying, you're not failing. I'm not sure if any of you are into the stock market. Full disclosure, I'm not. In fact, it makes my eyes glaze over in boredom and I really don't understand it, but it is my husband's love language. And so he talks to me about it often. And anytime that market is up or down, I usually know about it. And I always usually have the similar type of response. I really don't understand why he's so interested in the day-to-day ups and downs of the market, because to me, the only time any of that matters is when you cash out. So when you're no longer in the game of investing, that's when it's important to know if you cashed out on a high or you cashed out on a low, and that's when you'll know how things panned out for you. And so similarly, when it comes to the concept of failure, I think if you are still in the game playing, there's going to be ups and downs, and none of that is going to matter until you're not playing anymore. That's when you can truly say if you were successful or not. And on that note, I can totally appreciate and hold space for the fact that it can be terrifying to think of other people's opinions of us. We don't want people to think of us as failures. It's such an ingrained fear that we have. But can I remind you that we can't control other people's opinions of us? And people are going to judge us for no rhyme or reason, in a good or a bad way, irrespective of whatever we do. Just for existing on this planet and breathing air, we will get some judgment thrown our way. So it isn't a productive headspace for our energy to worry about what other people think, right? It just isn't. You have to be right with you. So whatever you do, you should be happy knowing that whatever you are working towards, you show up, you tried your best, and you keep trying. And if you decide to stop before you reach your goal, I want you to be in a position where you feel that you have no regrets, because you can walk away knowing that you gave it all you got. You gave it your best shot. So whether you fail or succeed is based on your interpretation of your effort and results. Are you happy with the effort that you put in? Are you happy with the results that you got? It's an internal assessment. And regardless of what this assessment shows, I want you to remember a few things. The first is failure is a necessary part of success. Through making mistakes, we learn important things, and those lessons that we learn enable us to revise our approach and decisions to ultimately get us to the results that we want. Our mistakes are better teachers than our successes because we remember them and we hold the energy and we feel the energy of a mistake, and we don't ever want to be in that space again. So that strong energy and desire to avoid being in the circumstance again makes us learn quick and fast. Because mistakes can be painful. They can cost us time. They can cost us energy. They can cost us money. They can cost us our reputation. And mistakes change us. So failure is a necessary part of growth.
And as driven, goal-getting individuals, we all want to grow, right? So we got to understand and accept that failure is going to be part of that journey. And we should always look to lean into those lessons and try again. So I'm sure you've heard of that concept of failing forward. And I feel like that's exactly what it means, acknowledging that there will be failures on our forward journey to the result that we want or success that we want. The second thing that I want you to take away from all of this is everyone experiences setbacks. But if you want something bad enough, you try again and again as much as it takes. And notice how I didn't use the word failure. I know this podcast episode is about failure, but I really don't agree with that word, right? I think it might be a setback. It might be a little bit of a detour from the expected approach that you were going to take, or the expected time that you were going to take. You learn that lesson. We fail forward. But it's a part of our journey. We need to embrace it. And you can decide if you want to stop in your tracks once you encounter a setback, or if you want to keep going. And if you want something bad enough, you are going to try again and again as much as it takes, right? You might fail 99 times before you finally get it right in order to be successful. So it's your choice whether you want to keep going, and you are accountable to your outcome. The third thing I want to acknowledge is that the fear of failure is very real. So if you feel no fear, I think that's a problem. I think that means that you're living in your comfort zone and you're not growing. So therefore, if you feel the fear, you know that you're in the zone of growth. And the emotion itself, the emotion of fear, doesn't necessarily mean something bad is going to happen to you. It just means that you're doing something different from what you may normally do. And that makes sense. You're creating change, you're creating transformation, you're creating results. All of that is going to be the result of hard work. All of that is going to be the result of doing something that you normally didn't do, of pushing yourself out of that comfort zone. So remember, growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. You are going to feel fear. It's about, do you keep going or not? And before we wrap up, folks, I want to bring this into perspective for you. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because he lacked innovation and imagination. The Beatles were rejected from a recording studio, and they were told they have no future in show business. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter was rejected 12 times. So everybody experiences setbacks. They kept going. Will you? So on that note, I am rooting for you, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Anita Chat podcast. If you haven't taken a minute to leave a review, I would absolutely love to hear from you. All you need to do is to search for the show, click your star rating, and type in a few words. Also, if there's a specific topic you'd like to see covered in this podcast, if you'd like me to be your coach, or if you want to just chat, feel free to send me an email or shoot me a message through my IG, which you'll find in the show notes. The show notes will also contain any links to the freebies that were referenced in this episode. Until next time, friends, it's been great chatting with you.